Good evening, Savages. Welcome to another episode of Savagely Paranormal. Tonight, we are going to go over the 8 types of paranormal entities and hopefully have a good show. Because we get this, we've had this requested a lot, and so let's delve in. So our first type that we're going to talk about are orbs. And those are usually like, many people see like balls of light. They're self-illuminated. They're different colors. They show up in videos and pictures. Some people can see them with the naked eye. It just kind of depends. They're usually harmless, though. We haven't really had a whole lot of horrible things happen with just orbs.
No, sometimes you get some where you go back through footage and you'll see an orb shoot across the screen and look like it went like into Kelsey's leg or whatever. And then when you put that together with either an EVP or looking back at footage, see what she was doing at the time, a lot of times it'll correlate with what was going on.
Yeah. It said that an orb is like the easiest, simplest form that an entity can take before it becomes like a full apparition, which is what we're going to talk about next. But
there's different colored orbs.
There's different colors, and different colors mean different things. Not 100% sure what the different colors mean.
Usually, if you see a bright white is usually divine energy. They have it broke down into so many different colors, but basically the bright white is the one that we see the most. Bright orange is usually a protective spirit is around you. I see a lot of those. There's solid black, which we all know what that means. Usually that's some sort of negative energy. Burgundy, I don't really see
I've never seen one that color.
No. I don't think I've ever seen one. I've seen a lot of gray.
Seen like pink and blue, like white.
Yes.
Some green.
Yeah.
Some yellow. Orangey colored.
Gray is supposed to be like a residual energy, but to me, the gray ones usually end up being dust.
Right.
Yeah. Bright red is when you're low on energy or like you're kind of in trouble and you need some protection. That's when you see those coming through. Blue, I don't know. I've read a whole bunch of different things about blue. It can be, I don't know. To me, I found most of the time the blue is more of a relative coming through just to make sure you're okay physically and mentally.
Right.
Like a grandma or an aunt or a mom or a sister type thing.
Now, looking at the evidence between like orbs and dust, orbs are going to be the balls of light that you see. They're like self-illuminated. Dust is usually pretty transparent. You can see through it. Kind of depends though. Like some bugs, depending on what kind, can also look like orbs on video and pictures. You really have to like look through your evidence, and like a lot of times we see orbs or dust and we don't immediately say that it's paranormal because some of the places that we've been to investigate are old. Like,
right.
Really old, like the Ross Opera House. Like, we have a lot of photos of orbs and stuff. But it's so old that it's hard to say, oh, yes, those are all orbs. When
right.
The majority of it could very well be dust because the building is old. It's drafty.
Right.
It's dusty.
Everything you sit on, everything you touch, it puts something in the air.
Yeah, the best way that I think we all do is you kind of take 3 to 4 snaps all in a row, like automatic, boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
And then you compare those 3 or 4 pictures that you have, and you can go from there. Usually you can eliminate what's dust versus what's an orb when you have those 4 to compare all in a row.
Yeah. And then a lot of our orb photos that we have, you can also see like images or faces or different stuff inside of the balls of light that you're seeing. So it's not just, oh look, there's a speck of something floating across your screen. That's definitely an orb. No, most of the time that's not. But I mean, a lot of other paranormal groups I see specks of things, and they automatically assume
Orb.
orb.
Yeah.
It could be a bug. It could be literally anything. I don't know. I don't really like to use solely pictures of orbs as evidence of a paranormal phenomenon.
No.
Right.
Orbs alone, you're not going to get 100% from me because those are not concrete evidence.
No. There's too many things that it could be. Alrighty. So, moving on.
Mm-hmm.
Our next type is usually what happens is the next stage in a haunting, so to speak. It's an apparition, and that is like a physical manifestation of a spirit or a ghost. It's also sometimes called an intelligent haunting, but that's not always the case. Some of those are more residual, so it just kind of it depends.
Right.
Yeah, if it depends on what else is going on again. If it interacts with you, if you catch an EVP at the same time, a million different things. But an apparition you can see with your own eyes
is a great sign of a paranormal.
Yeah.
And, you know, like, not all entities are able to, like, consistently maintain a physical form, so you also will get your EVPs and other interactions, like ghost box stuff that you guys have seen us use a few times on. You'll see them touch the REM pods or move the dowsing rods or the pendulums, and there's always other means of communication as well as just not usually just a physical form.
It takes
Right.
a lot of energy to make a full-bodied apparition.
It's usually when all my batteries start to die.
Yeah.
Like, other times you'll hear, like, them make sounds, like, you know, knocking and moving things, and they'll open and shut doors, and...
Yeah, if you get a full-bodied apparition, there's something they want to tell you for sure.
Yeah.
Right.
Sometimes they'll, like, turn the lights on and off, they'll turn the water on.
They'll throw things at you.
Yeah.
That goes
Touch
in line
you.
with the next one.
Yeah, that goes in line with the next one. Our next type is a poltergeist. And they're a little more violent than a apparition. And
They
not my most favorite.
Not if I've ever dealt with one. So.
They're poltergeist in German. When you translate it out, it means noisy ghost. So you get a lot of, again, door banging, things being thrown,
Knocking, tapping, whistling,
Yeah.
voices.
and there's a lot of controversy over the whole poltergeist versus the PK manifestation
Yes.
thing. It's kind of the chicken or the egg, which came first.
Yeah.
A lot of times people who have depression, anxiety, anger management problems, and are sensitive, they can project all of that onto what is called a PK manifestation, which is simply that. It is a manifestation of all that negative energy that they're sending out there,
Right.
and then that acts like a poltergeist. So,
It's called recurrent spontaneous telekinesis or psychokinesis.
yes.
So that's like when you start thinking about it and then start doing it, and then it finally, everything just becomes like one thing.
like-
Yes. So they're
Yeah.
Had that issue.
Yes. So they're trying to figure out, okay, is this a PK manifestation, or is it a poltergeist, or did the PK make the poltergeist, or did a poltergeist help to make the PK manifestation?
Which is why we don't recommend you investigate your own house.
No.
Right.
No.
And like a lot of your more PK manifestations are going to occur with younger people, like
Teenage hormone, puberty.
Yes, a lot of it's like hormonal fluctuations, and because that creates powerful energy. That's a lot of energy going through puberty.
And that's generally
Oh God, yes, I remember that.
And that's generally the time when the brain shuts off the ability to see and hear and experience
and
the
it's,
other dimensions.
It's a lot of powerful emotions, and that collides with some people that don't know they have psychic abilities, and that's when you start to get the PK manifestation type things. And a PK manifestation is a poltergeist that has a physical. Now it goes from just hearing things move to now they are a physical being. And they are almost impossible to get rid of.
A lot of working on your abilities and mental health, and
Well, now, once a kid usually gets past the puberty stage and into like the adulting portions of their lives, the manifestation will usually like die down as long as they have worked through a lot of their emotional trauma and they find healthy ways to channel and journal through their emotions.
Well,
Like,
that didn't happen for me.
Qigong, like
learning
yoga,
how to meditate,
meditation, and journaling are all great
grounding
Just
yourself.
ways to.
The secret is always being angry.
The secret is not being angry. Let's not do that, because that creates.
It's so much
things that you
easier
don't
to
want
just be
deal with.
angry, though.
He's like the Hulk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, got the green for dog.
I know.
Okay, so our next
Yeah.
type of paranormal entity is a demon.
Those are the fun ones.
Those are not the fun ones.
Talking about being angry.
Yeah. And
I like those ones.
you know
Those
what?
ones are fun.
Yeah, fun until they try to possess you or attack you, physical harm.
Yeah.
You know it's a demon when they react to religious provocation.
Yeah.
So that's always thought it's fun.
Yeah, and generally, again, don't want to freak people out because not everything is a demon. But when you're finding scratches, bites, handprints from being slapped, that does not always mean it's a demon.
Because poltergeist
But,
activity can
yeah.
cause the same thing.
But generally, that is one that happens from a demonic attack. They will turn crosses around in your house. You may notice your Bible is not in the same place. I've had that happen before.
Right. And a demonic attack can like manifest as, in all manners of like a poltergeist. And with things flying across the rooms and all that stuff, but they are mostly physically violent. They're pushing you, you're getting shoved downstairs, they're trying to invade your nightmares to
They want to
take
wear
over.
you down to the point where they can physically overtake you. Or mentally, spiritually overtake you.
Yeah.
That is their main goal. They
Right.
wear you down and wear you down until they can have control.
There are many stages of a demonic type haunting, many stages, and if you catch it early enough, they're often easier to get rid of than once you hit the obsession stage. So if you're starting to have activity, like
Are we all thinking the same thing?
Yes.
Okay.
starting to have activity where you're being shoved and pushed and stuff, it's always better to reach out for help at that stage.
And stop the communication.
Yes, don't communicate
Stop
with
the
them.
investigating.
Yes.
Reach out for help.
Yes.
The more you're curious and the more you question things and the more you ask it to do things,
The more you're summoning more
yes,
of them.
Yes,
and
you're
the
giving them
worse
permission.
your activity is going to be. Don't
And
do
a
that.
lot of times, in order to gain your trust, they will present themselves as a child. So you think you're talking to an innocent little child. How bad could that be?
It's always bad.
That is why my rule is, if I see children anywhere, it's always you're a demon until you prove otherwise. Because I have seen many, many cases where the demonic acts as a child or another
A safe
like
person.
safer being, and then it hits the fan, and
they know everything. So even if you think you're talking to your great grandma and you ask specific questions that only great grandma would know,
They know.
they know.
And it's always a friend. It's always a family member,
or a kid.
That
Yeah.
you think you're talking to because they know everything, because the answers are exactly what you want to hear to keep you going, to keep you interested, to keep you asking more questions. Don't do that.
No.
You get, you can ask random questions and you're still going to get an answer that you want to hear. It's never going to stop. That's the whole point.
Yeah, it is absolutely the entire point. Is to keep you interested long enough that they can wear you down to possess you. That is their end goal, is to possess you, because that causes the most damage. The more you communicate, you ask for EVPs, you ask it to move things, you're giving it permission to interact with you. If you give it permission to interact with you, it is going to interact with you.
Yes.
Bottom line.
Which is the other reason why we don't recommend Ouija boards.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or communication. If it looks like a Ouija board, it probably is a Ouija board, whether it's a piece of paper you decided to draw on or something you found on the internet. Don't, for the love of God,
Don't do it.
don't do it.
You're basically, those big spotlights they put out for fairs and stuff. That's what you're doing in the
You're
spirit
just putting
world.
a beacon like, hey, I'm here.
A board, come play.
Don't do that.
It is also important to know that if you're reaching out for help because you think you have demonic activity, they can and will read every single message that you're sending online.
Yeah, they do.
On the phone. They know. So if you need help and you have to go through the church, go physically to speak with somebody.
They don't like that.
Don't do it on the phone, because they're going to do everything in their power to prevent the people from coming to help you.
And don't be surprised if you go to get in your car and you have a flat tire, or it won't start, or
My exhaust just fell off, so
mine's dangling.
I mean, they can also cause car accidents and a plethora of other things.
But
to prevent you from getting help.
If you're in that situation, you have to get help. Whether it's through the church, through a team, whatever your religion is, you have to get help.
My suggestion is having a team come out first to record and the evidence going on and happenings, because they can, on your behalf, go and request help from the church, and they can set up the appointment, so your entity has no idea what's going on.
Going with proof is a little easier than just walking in the door saying, hey, I think I have a demon.
Yeah. Always go with proof to the church if you need an exorcism, or you think you might need an exorcism, because they don't just do that willy-nilly.
No, that has to go up the chain of command.
That they're not gonna they're gonna turn you away. They're just gonna want to know more, kind of like what we do when we ask questions. They're gonna want to know what you did.
Yeah. Right.
Don't lie.
No. Don't lie.
That's not helpful to anybody's situation.
They're not going to judge you. They just need to know what they're getting into.
And by lying to the people that are coming to help you, whether it be a priest or a team, you are putting them in danger. If you lie and answer questions falsely, you are absolutely putting them in danger. End of discussion. Like,
they say demonic energy is not a game. It's
no.
It's a big thing.
It is. And it's a very, very serious thing. Like, you do not want to lie about anything that you have done. And they're going to ask you, have you done any witchcraft? Satanic worship? Have you pulled out a Ouija board? Have you opened portals that you don't know how to close? Like,
Have you performed any sort of ritual that
could open doorways?
Like, even if you are practicing, whether it's you're part of, Satanism as your religion, you practice Wicca, witchcraft, all of those, we're not telling you not to.
no.
We're just telling you that,
To watch the doors that you open.
yes, and if you are not experienced, just don't go grab a book and say, hey, this is what we're going to do today. That's not how that works.
Yeah.
But if you could be, putting, luck out into the world is what you think you're doing, and then come to find out you conjured something. That happens. Don't do that.
It happens
If
more than
you
you think.
yes. if you want to get into doing witchcraft or into, Satanism or whatever,
Do your research.
do your research. Find somebody who has done it for years, not, 6 months, a year, maybe year and a half, like years. Somebody who has background, who has knowledge, who can fix the mistake that you've made.
Yes.
Because getting involved in anything like that is not something that you just do willy-nilly.
No.
And if you have done something like that and you think you may have done something wrong or you think something might be going on, contact the team. Let them come out, check it out for you. I would rather come out and be able to tell you there is nothing going on than to have you not call somebody and have something happen.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, like, we have had places where we've gone and nothing has happened, and we were like, okay, cool. Nothing. But then we've gone back a few weeks later and had a whole bunch of stuff happen.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So just because your team comes out once and nothing happens also doesn't mean that there's not activity. It just
Means
it's a hit or
that
miss.
they were
They're hiding.
lying dormant to see what was going on.
Right.
Yeah. But we've had it where they would hide from us for a while, and then, like at the Ross house, everything was quiet. Nothing happened until like midnight.
No, it
No,
was
it was later
like
than that.
2:30, 3 o'clock
Yeah.
when it finally livened up.
Yeah. And like 3 is the mockery of the Holy Trinity, so that's when all the fun things come to play.
Mm-hmm. And they did.
Fun, right? We'll go with that.
Yeah.
That's when all the fun things come to play. So if you're having a lot of activity around 3 a.m., you might want to consider calling somebody. Like, if your place is haunted, like with like an intelligent haunting that's not demonic, it's haunted in the daytime or at nighttime.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like my house.
Most
Yeah.
most demonic hauntings, the activity is way worse the later it gets into the evening. And it's usually around 3 a.m. that the activity is at its peak. And then it tapers off from there.
Mine tends to go to bed at 11
That's nice.
because he's grumpy.
He's a grumpy old man.
He is a grumpy old man. He sits in the corner of my basement and he smokes. It pisses me off because I hate that smell.
Alrighty, so our next type of ghost is a residual haunting. And that's, the activity that happens at the same time every night, over and over and over again.
And it's not an intelligent haunting. It's just a replay of something that has imprinted on the location.
I mean, and that's kind of what we get called for is usually the residuals is...
Yeah. People want to know why their door keeps opening at the same time every day.
Why they hear knocking, why they hear tapping, why they hear sounds of giggling or laughing and conversations,
It's usually
furniture.
It's like a loop.
Yeah, when someone would come
Like a
home
broken
from
record.
work at 5 o'clock every day, they'd walk in the house, take off their shoes, go play with the kids. You'd hear the kids giggle. So 5 o'clock every day, you hear the front door, you hear the shoes, you hear them walk down the hall to go see the kids. It's just an imprint that just happens over and over.
And a lot of the time, those ones are livable. You know that they're not out to get you. It's just somebody stuck. You can always be nice and just say, hey, I know you're here. and kind of go from there.
Most of the time, the residual hauntings, they have no idea that you're there. So you'll see a person walk through the hall, down the hall, into a door that doesn't exist anymore. And it's the same thing all the time.
And
At a specific
There's
time
nothing
every
you
day.
can do about it, really.
You just live with that.
And then eventually you won't even notice it anymore. There's
No.
one of those at the Opera House. The guy would leave. He'd come down the stairs, through the door, down the walkway, out the door, and go home.
And that door doesn't
you just
exist
see
anymore.
it. Yep. So you just see the shadow go down, and out he goes.
And then
I don't think we're gonna get through our whole list today.
Well, actually, this is our last one.
Oh, okay.
Our last type is the cryptids. So we're talking like fae, aliens,
No.
Bigfoot,
Sorry, April.
skinwalkers, wendigos.
FYI, we don't do the A words.
No.
You can call us for anything else. We don't do those.
And that is going to have to be another episode because there are way too many cryptid things to discuss. And yeah,
I'm excited about that one.
you gonna learn some stuff.
We gonna learn you.
We gonna learn. Yeah, the cryptids are like more like the folklore type beings. So like banshees, witches.
Imps, which is not really a cryptid. It's a demon, but it falls in the category of
Yeah.
cryptids.
Like
Black
fae,
shucks.
elementals.
Yes, I'm excited about that.
shadow
Mermaids.
people.
Oh my god.
The mermaids
Those are all in the
Mermaids are sirens. They just want to eat people.
right? But
those are all
little
like
kids call them mermaids.
Those are all like in the cryptid type category, and that's gonna have to be a whole nother episode because there are way too many of those to go over.
Yes.
Make a new cartoon of
For the time
Ariel.
that we have.
She's all pretty in her mermaid costume and goes, "Roar."
Oh my god. So, we also have 2 investigations coming up back-to-back weekends, right?
Yep,
Yes.
15th and the 22nd.
Yes, back-to-back weekends. We will probably, if I can get everything set up correctly, we should have a live that actually functions.
Yes, because those are our hometown investigations to clients.
That our friends also. So
Yeah.
I say it worked the last time at the Ross house, so keeping our fingers crossed we can get it to work this time.
All right. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.
Turn on notifications. Check us out on all the streaming podcast apps, whatever they are.
YouTube, Discord, all the
Yes.
podcasts.
Join our Discord. Find us on Facebook. If you need help, reach out. Discord is probably the easiest place to reach out to us.
Facebook works.
I still don't know
I'm
how to
always-
join Discord.
I'm
but
always on checking the Facebook messages.
She always checks the Facebook. I always check the Discord. So if you need help,
Website works too. It goes to all of us.
Yep.
And if we can't help you, we will find someone that can.
Yep.
We go all the way. We've got contacts all the way to England, Australia.
the Netherlands. I'm sure there's more. We have contacts everywhere.
We're getting there.
Yeah.
We're slowly building a community.
We are. Just recently found some in California.
All right, savages. Have a good night.